It's still rotating.
Yeah, something's recording. It
Well,
says
no, I'm recording
50% on my
on
end.
here. I'm recording right now on here, but it should pop up over to that. But
It
it typically doesn't because I
say,
use my computer.
I mean, it says in streams up there, but I don't see. Oh yeah, it popped up.
Something.
It's muted though. It's
Now you
live.
shouldn't be able to hear. You shouldn't be able to hear it.
It's live for 22 seconds now.
Now, let me go check. This is getting out of hand. Yeah,
It
yeah,
says
we live. We
81%.
live. Yeah,
Whatever
we
it is,
live.
it's charged. Okay. Say less.
Because I hear Matt beatboxing and shit.
Hell yeah.
All right, it's working.
Beatbox your ass.
Nah. All right,
Yeah, all right. You
back to the
feeling better
regular
now?
shit. Yeah, I want to get this shit done. I'm kind of pissed off.
No.
Yeah, I don't like being late. Shit, like my biggest pet peeve. Well, welcome back to the Black Gentlemen's Club tonight, where we're diving into the intricate layers of the law of gender rigidity and the laws of aimlessness, as depicted in Robert Greene's The Law of Human Nature. These laws challenge us to break free from the rigid confines of gender expectations and the meandering path of aimlessness. So, first, I'm gonna introduce some of the hosts on here. As you know, you got your man Loki.
Hey, how you doing? What's up? What's up? What's up?
You got your other man's over there, the other gentleman, Matt.
What's
You know,
happening?
I don't know if he can see y'all, if he can hear y'all, or y'all in the group chat typing up. But hey, show everybody some love out there, all right?
Yes, sir.
So in our
YOLO.
continuous quest, pretty much for personal evolution, we confront the limitations imposed by society and ourselves. We begin the law with we're going to begin this one with Law 12. So Law 12 is the law of gender rigidity. Kind of in the book, he kind of calls for us to transcend traditional gender roles that may restrict our true potential. This actual chapter kind of messed with me a lot because I didn't agree with everything, but I still read it and I understood. Um, so within this law, the three topics we're really going to talk about, we're going to talk about how he talked about confronting gender norms, and then beyond binary, and then also embracing fluidity. I know this is going to be a very controversial topic, probably to some people, because this
Yeah.
is the Black Gentlemen's Club. This is not the Black Feminine Club. So, however, we are going to discuss this because it is actually a good chapter that actually will challenge you and challenge your thinking. So, the first one about confronting gender norms, he talks about the impact of societal gender norms on individual growth and the importance of personal authenticity over conformity. Pretty much stating that yes, society places barriers or stereotypes amongst men versus women, but in this chapter, he wants you to look at confronting those and saying, hey, look, women can do construction, or women can do things that men can do, and men can do things that women can do. That's what he's trying to push. However, I don't agree with all that. What do y'all think?
Okay. You want me to jump in first?
If you want to,
All
you
right.
had something to
So,
say about it.
personally, I'm kind of on the fence about it because there are certain things that men can do that women can't do naturally. But are
Mm-hmm.
there ways that they can figure out how to do certain things? Yeah, there's ways. But there's also certain things such as childbirth that men can't do that women can do, and vice versa. There's, women can't, well, I don't even want to. This topic a little hot to just jump in like that, but I
It
just
is
feel
hot.
like there are vast differences, and certain things we can do that they can't, and vice versa. But in today's society, I feel like it's kind of getting away from the roles of the gender norms. Because I cook dinner and I stay at home most of the time, and I take care of house stuff too. But at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing in big money for the household. So like when you put it that way, like am I doing the role of what they say a so-called wife's supposed to be doing, Or am I just being a good team player with my partner and hey, let's balance each other?
Yeah, I
So I
agree.
don't know.
I agree with that. I think you're being a good team player. The only thing,
Yeah.
only issue I had with this part was really because of being a Christian and the Christian belief. You're talking about societal norms versus like roles and responsibilities are two different things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when he said gender roles, I'm like, are you expecting to be like where he's saying the wife must do this and that, or a woman when she becomes a wife, she has to stay at home and do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I'm like, she doesn't have to stay at home. It's if that's what's in a relationship, that's what they agreed
Yep.
upon. That makes sense. But um, when it comes down to like who's responsible for certain things, that's where the Christianity in me kicks in. Is like, okay, well, according to my faith, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm the head of the household, but above
Mm-hmm.
me is still God. God, Jesus is above me. Like they're still ahead of me. So I don't just make moves just to make moves. And these are the responsibilities within my house. Not saying
Mm-hmm.
that my wife may not have my wife may have like a masculine side to her. She may. I ain't saying she does, but I'm saying if she did, like
Mm-hmm.
she may be more dominant in certain parts that I'm not dominant in. That don't mean
Mm-hmm.
that she's doing what I'm doing as a man.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said this.
Yeah.
That's why I said this chapter kind of challenged me because my mindset. I was like, "Oh, roles? Like, come on, like it's too easy. Like, it's just roles." But when reading, it, I'm like, okay, I understand what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that you can do more than just what people place labels on you to do as far as the things of
Mm-hmm.
gender. You know.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
I have a question for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the questions I have is, in what ways have you seen traditional gender norms limit personal or professional growth in your own life or in the lives of those around you?
Mm.
Can you catch me up real quick? Did we define gender norms and binaries already?
No, we didn't do binaries yet. We didn't even touch binaries or fluidity. We just talked about the gender norms. And according to what he talked about in there
Confronting
was
Jim. Yeah.
how society placed um, your roles, like what you're supposed to do. If you're a wife, this is your role. Or if
Mm-hmm.
you're a man, this is your
Or
role. If
be a
you're a woman,
husband.
this is
Yeah.
your role.
Okay.
Versus your responsibility, because he didn't talk about responsibility. He talked about the role,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
which is based off of people's belief systems, which technically responsibilities can be too.
All right.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
but he was
Absolutely.
talking about roles as far as like for example, if you had a football team and you had 12 positions or 11 positions on a football team, the lineman is not being the wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But if you was
Yeah.
going off of his logic, oh, tell the lineman, hey, lineman, you can go out for a pass, which you can't. Some linemen have one up for a pass,
All right.
depending on what kind of
Mm.
formation. But it's not
Yeah, but you got
typical
to
for them
check
to
in
do
as
that.
an eligible receiver.
Correct, but it's not typical. But it's not an everyday occurrence that you see that happen,
True.
right? But that's
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the mindset that he's pushing is to break that barrier to be who you are. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's trying to
Mm-hmm.
push in that chapter is break the barrier to be who you truly are.
Okay.
And I
So
respect that.
transcending just male and female, feminine, masculine, and becoming
Pretty
more
much.
of just do what you're supposed to do in the moment.
I call it a team player. I ain't gonna lie to you. I call it a team player because nowadays is everybody does have roles, but sometimes we kind of fall off, and
Mm-hmm.
our
Yeah.
team sometimes have to help us to get back up. And sometimes, I mean, the roles may switch. I may be cleaning and washing clothes where she's, working in, whatever occupation that may be, but they may switch whether, however we need them to work. But that's
Hmm.
our life and how we see things. That's based on how we live our life, our life. But others may be like, no, I'm not doing that. She has to do that. That's her role. And hey, whatever works for
Well,
your household, in my opinion.
that's if you're looking at relationships, right? But if you're
Yeah,
talking
true,
about
true.
confronting gender norms within the workplace, within schools or whatever, like
Oh,
think about how long it took for women to get voting rights, right? Or how long it
I'm
took
with you on that.
for women to be able to like take command of an actual military unit.
Hmm.
It's just thinking about all those things. Even to become a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. Like
WNBA.
that's what he said. Yeah, that too. WNBA. Like, I mean, they're not gonna still get paid as much as others, but hey, that's a different discussion.
Well, I
I'm
feel
just
Yeah.
like
hey, be honest. I mean, much as I want them to, that's a different discussion.
And
I
that
think
and
it,
that and that
yeah.
view that you're saying, male or female, they're only a good leader or a good fit if they both have evolved to the point where they don't need gender to like define themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm. Ooh.
But see, but what he's trying to convey in this chapter was, it's if you're the person reading it, he's talking it to it as, don't let people limit you based on your gender, like you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm looking at it also from
Absolutely.
another lens. If I'm the old America and I'm looking at, this is not how we normally do things. Women are not meant to do this and that. But then when World War II kicked off, or World War One kicked off, they had to put women in factories to do some of the jobs that men were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
order for us to keep up. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Ooh.
you know, that's what I went back to when I read that chapter. That's why I was like, okay, I understand what he's pushing, but then it kind of like pushing against my belief system as far as a Christian when it came down to responsibility within the house. Because I'm thinking about the structure of a family. Because I went
Mm-hmm.
straight to family structure versus looking at a societal as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there anything that either gender shouldn't do? Because like as I see in 2024, it's like more and more men are supposed to be getting more in touch with their feminine side, like not like being softer in general, but just aware. So like I think as time continues, now is men supposed to be in factories, or should we care about our bodies more and preserve ourselves? And that now becomes a machine's job. Like, do you think there's anything
I mean,
that neither gender should be doing?
I don't know. I don't. I really don't know. I don't think that's a feminine trait. Like, I don't think caring for yourself is a feminine thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's a feminine trait. That's like saying
But
being
we've been
clean.
made to think that shit was though.
Yeah, but I don't think like that's what he's trying to confront is the
Mm-hmm.
things that you thought that may have been gender specific may not be
Mhm.
gender specific when it comes down to
Yeah.
certain traits or qualities, right? That's what
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to convey in this, and that's why I'm like, just because society may say that, getting in touch with your emotions is a feminine trait. Is
Mm-hmm.
it really? I mean, I don't think getting in touch with your emotions is a feminine trait because as men we're very emotional. Technically, like think about when a woman cheat on us.
Boy, heartbroken. Some nigga go crazy.
Hey, we be in the rain, be in the rain dancing for Little Saint, doing it for Little Saint out there in the rain and shit. Because we out here
Yeah.
torn up and hurt. We
Mm-hmm.
flipping our jackets open in the rain, chest all out, pop like a Marianne and stuff, like because we hurt. We ain't gonna ever forgive
Yeah.
you,
For sure.
Trying to let that shit burn and shit like us. But you know what?
pretty much.
But you know what? I wanted to take it back a little bit because he mentioned in work, or you mentioned in the workforce.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
when you look at it in the workforce, bro, I'm gonna be honest. As an owner, I may look at some things and be like, this is a gender role for somebody else, for a woman over a man. But the reality is, this day and age, it needs to be all even. I'm gonna be honest. Like I expect everybody to do it, and everybody possibly can, depending on what like resources we have. So like whether it's machinery that we operating or whether it's filing, I don't care what it is, whether it's serving smoothies, it don't matter. I guess I got to be fair in this aspect because
Hmm.
in the workforce there is no gender role. It should not be any gender roles anymore. They don't want that. But the
Right.
reality is certain things that men can do that women can't. But when I was deployed, my wife always found a way to make shit happen where I always used to have to do it. You understand what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say?
No, I see what you're
She
saying,
figured out
but
a process.
I
So,
don't. Yeah, but
mhm,
I don't think that there's a specific thing like in the workforce where there's a gender specific job.
mhm,
I think the issue goes back down. That's why I was having an issue with this chapter. I think the issue goes back down to what people want, right? Like
okay,
not a lot of women really want to do construction.
Hmm.
that's
Not a
real.
lot of women want to be infantry. Not a lot of
Yep.
women want to put themselves in certain dangerous positions because it doesn't benefit them in the long run. Which is their choice. There's nothing wrong with that, But to make it seem like it's a gender specific role, that's where that becomes the issue. Because I think
It's a problem when
if
you
you have
tell
the
somebody
trait,
they can't do it.
yeah, I ain't gonna say you can't do anything. That's not for me to say because I don't know your ability.
Yeah.
But if you have the quality and you have the traits to do it, then that's where I think you should get the shot. Now it might be
Hmm.
somebody that's more qualified than you. That could be the case.
Yeah.
They may
Man,
have
but
more
haven't
experience
they
than you too.
But haven't they readjusted laws to make them more like give the underdog a chance? That's a sacrifice to the company, but like that's kind of what they've always done because even with us, they didn't want to give us a chance to work where they worked at. And I'm talking about black people, white people. I'm just saying
Mhm.
they thought that we were going to degrade or not be able to do it. We're dumb, whatever the case they might have thought. But the laws had to be adjusted to give us a chance to actually get in there and do the job. Then we had to step up and say, hey, we could actually do this job and we have to do it right, but they're gonna make it harder for us. So it's the same thing with male and female now. Certain things that they want to do, like joining the fucking Army Rangers. Hey, you're a hard ass motherfucker. You do that, go ahead, enjoy it. But
Mhm.
you got to go out there and you got to do the work. You got to be able to figure
Getting
that shit out. But
get
yeah,
the same training and the same conditions are the same. It doesn't
mhm.
change. Nothing changes for you. The line doesn't change for you
It might
because
be
you're
harder.
growing when you go into that. I mean, if
Hmm.
it is, it is. But the line, but the criteria and the requirements don't change.
True,
You
true,
know,
true.
and I think about that when I looked at the NBA All Star game, right? The NBA All Star 3-point competition against Steph and I can't remember the other girl name. Save my life.
Oh yeah,
Damn.
yeah. I know what you're talking about. She
But
shot
she's good.
26 though.
She's
I
one.
can
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
that.
She's one of the
Kate,
best shooters
Caitlin
in
something.
the WNBA.
Said
I
Caitlin.
don't remember her name.
Hmm.
Now,
I
now,
think
now,
that.
Caitlin Clark is the one that's in the actual NCAA. This chick, she's actually been there for a while in WNBA.
Nah,
She's one of the
Mm.
best three
I
point
know her
shooters.
face. I don't know her
Period.
names. I suck at names.
Yeah, I think she played for the Aces or something like that.
Mm.
Thing about it was that people talking about, well, is she gonna shoot with WNBA ball or NBA ball? You know, but then WNBA NBA
It's
line
always got to be some.
but see the WNBA line is not the same distance
Yeah.
from the basket as the regular NBA line. So it's like
Hmm.
if you're gonna participate in that type of event, then it should be a standard across the board because then if it's shortened, then it's gonna say well Steph had the advantage regardless, either if it was shortened or if it was still the same.
Facts. So
So
based
it's
off of
like
that, oh, go ahead, go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead, say what you gotta say.
Now I'm saying based off of that because I guess it's kind of another point because they did keep the standards the same as the NBA. They didn't change. I don't remember what ball she shot with. So if they did give her the WNBA ball, then that's a standard that changed. But as
It
far
didn't.
as the distance, okay, it didn't. Okay, good. The distance she was shooting from the same position. Kirby
Mhm.
was shooting from those same positions. She got
Mhm.
26, Kirby got 29.
Mhm.
And most of the other Damian Lillard and all of those other guys that shot before them, they got 26 or less.
Yeah.
So when you look at those roles and you see the differences and then you put them together on the same playing field, but she outplays 90% of the NBA, how did I mean like did
Well,
she
she didn't
not step
outplay
up and
them.
say that
She
she outshot
outshot
him?
them. It's a different thing. She outshot them. It's the difference.
I'm just saying they gave the underdog a chance, and this could have
No,
been
yeah.
a big bust. She could have came out and got 13 or 3 and been
I
like,
got
"Oh,
that.
see, this is why. This is why we
Yeah,
don't let y'all shoot with us."
yeah.
My
But
bad.
but but see, she's one of the best. So I doubt that was gonna happen. But like I said, the question was though, in what ways have you seen traditional gender norm limit personal or professional growth in your own life or in the lives of those around you? And we just kind of like hit that question with the topics we just talked about just now. So
Mhm.
if you're in the chat or if you're watching, please comment and tell us exactly in what ways have you seen traditional gender norms limit personal or professional growth in your own life or in the lives of those around you? Just put in the group, put in the chat, or put it over there. You know, in the comment section if you're watching as a repeat. And we're gonna go on to the actual next part. So the next part he
Mm.
talks about is about the binary. Pretty much, how can we foster an environment that celebrates diverse expressions of identity? This is the one that really challenged me. And
Mhm.
what does that look like in our daily lives? Which is what we kind of see right now, right? We have the was it LGBTQIA
All the letters.
plus? I think it's IA
Mhm.
plus.
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
I don't know all of it exactly how to say it correctly, but I know it's the LGBT community.
Mhm.
We
There you
have
go.
that kind of going on right now with the
Plus community.
diversity of expressions of identity. So people can identify as being a woman or even a frying pan.
Mhm.
And I hate to say it, that's not a joke about being identified being a frying pan. I kid you not. I
I
ran
know.
into somebody
I know.
that said that
Mm.
And I was like, "Are you sure?" And it really messed me up, though. I'll kid you not, because I was like, I don't know what to say.
Are you sure was your question?
That was my question, was, "Are you sure?" Because I'm like,
Were they
I
offended?
thought it was no, I really thought it was a joke. I thought they were joking.
Yeah.
I was, but that's how different. It's like now I feel like there's no limitation to what you can identify as. That's
Yeah.
how I feel.
Yeah.
So
It's
it kind of
simulation.
messes with me.
And it's
And that's where it messes
simulation,
with me
man.
when it comes down to my faith, because I'm like, there's only two.
There's only two
Like,
genders, right?
that's,
Like that.
well, that's what I know of. But according to everything else, there's more than one. Which you're free to be who you want to be. I'm not gonna tell you who you can't be.
You can
You
identify as
know,
anybody, as
no,
anything.
I don't dislike anybody. That's not the issue. I don't care. You can be what you want to be. I'm just saying that when you have all, like, he's trying to get people to understand you can go beyond being a male or a female. That's what he was trying to push in that part, beyond the binary.
I
He's saying that
think
we should foster an environment to celebrate this.
the best way to celebrate it is to I feel like, like how we got groups of people that's like,
Hmm.
glee clubs or whoever. Like, it should be like an identifier, but not, it shouldn't affect your way of life. Like,
Correct.
it's like an additional add-on to who you
Yeah.
are. But people are making it as like their functioning body doesn't change to what they consider themselves as. So
Correct.
if it isn't physically able to be done, I'm a male that is also part of the frying pan group. Um, it's kind of more celebrated. It's like almost like a sticker or a badge that you can put on yourself instead of trying to restructure your whole biome or genome.
Yeah. True. I mean, I think we're already kind of as a society celebrating them, but I don't think it should be a celebration of your sexual orientation.
Hmm.
You know, or I don't think we should be celebrating your gender. Right? That's that's how I feel. Now, it doesn't mean that you're not accepted. It doesn't mean that you're not who you say you are. But to
Hmm.
celebrate, like, that's like me having heterosexual day.
Hmm. Is there such thing?
Like, I don't know. There might be. I have no idea. But that's like me having that kind of day. Like, it's like I don't need to be celebrated for being a heterosexual. Like, I
Mm.
don't think if you're homosexual, I don't think you need to be celebrated for just being homosexual. That's your choice.
Hmm.
Like, congratulations
Why
to
does
you.
the world
You
have to
chose.
know that?
Yeah, you chose to be homosexual. That's fine. And cool. That's what you want to be. That's what you want to be. But I don't think you have to celebrate everybody's sexual identity or any of that stuff. I think
So,
if you want to live by being celebrated by what you do behind closed doors, cool. But
so I personally think that there's, I'm gonna say three genders. I'm gonna say this because some people are actually born with both. Like
hmm
it's all kinds of like things, right? And at birth, that's what I've always known like a transgender to be, is a person that has both and they had to either make a decision. But I don't know. I really don't know. I ain't never had the problem. But as far as gender, male, female, and then that person that's God may have put that on them, right? But besides that, with the identity of who you choose to be, I don't care who you choose to be. Based off your sexual orientation, I shouldn't even know it. If that's not the type of relationship that we have or we're working on, I should not know if you're homosexual, heterosexual, or you like whatever you like. You can have some type of kinks. That's not my business. My business is whatever we talk about, whatever we have that we deal with. But as far as you doing all that other stuff, I got respect for you and you live in your own space, your own light. But that's not like that's not what I even want to talk about at work. Like if we're at work,
so
like
then
yeah.
so then the question I have for you all, as well as the chat, is what are some actionable steps we can take to support and celebrate diverse gender identities within our community?
Mm, well, I already think that there are groups for everything. Like if you want to do anything, you just have to begin doing it, right? So
Hmm.
if your group identifies a dog or a frying pan or whatever, I guarantee you, you do that in enough places, you're gonna find another group of people that want to do that same thing. And I think you guys find a way to celebrate that. But why do we all have to celebrate every single difference in the world? Everybody's different. Everybody got something going on. Like, I mean, I play volleyball. I got a whole volleyball group for it, and we celebrate. Somebody's birthday, we celebrate for them. We play volleyball. Like,
Yeah.
you get what I'm saying?
You know what we
So,
already do
Yeah,
for major holidays though? It's like it's a worldwide thing or at least a national thing that we celebrate for that day. So not
mm,
saying we should do it all the time, but I think just sometimes stepping into somebody else's shoes helps them feel included
correct.
and maybe at
mhm,
least made aware of like, I'm
Yeah,
a
definitely.
dog for a day. And you see what it's like to be a dog for a day. And
mm.
you know.
I mean,
I
I don't know if I'm
mean,
gonna go that far, but I do agree with some of that because I'm being honest, I'm like I'm not going that far. However, I'm
mhm,
gonna celebrate you. I'm gonna celebrate your differences that's different than me. I'm not gonna shut you out or make you feel like you're less than because I don't want to feel that way, right? And
mhm,
you're not less than because you're different than me. That's not how that should be. You're not less than because we're different.
Hmm.
We're the, we're still human beings. We're just having different experiences.
mhm.
Um,
I'm,
but
mm,
the thing is though, I do feel like we should celebrate those who are different, but it shouldn't be like a national or a worldwide celebration type thing. I think if you have somebody in your family that may be different, cool, celebrate them. It doesn't mean that like just cause you when I say celebrate, I don't mean like throw no big ass party. I'm talking about like acknowledge them,
acknowledge them.
acknowledge
Yeah.
them. You know, have them know that you do have their back on certain things. You know, you might
Making
not agree
Mhm,
with
safe
everything. Like I
spaces
got
for
cousins that are homosexual. I don't agree with everything they do, but I still
them.
love them.
yeah.
You know, I don't treat them anything. I don't treat them anything any different, and I don't expect them to treat me any different. But I still love them. I may
Mhm,
not agree with everything that they're doing, but they don't agree with everything I do. So it's the same.
Right.
You know, so I think that's how we can really celebrate people by supporting them, not by just telling them that they're absolutely wrong. You know, and just acting like they're less than us because they're different than us.
that, but see, that's kind of how and I guess maybe I'm the opposite point of view on this one because I kind of look at it like when you highlight the differences, it's almost like you're calling me out because I'm different, and because of that, you want to try to say, "Hey, I appreciate you, and I know you're here. I well respect me on a day to day basis and what we doing and how we doing whatever we doing." Again, this is just my point of view because I don't want to hear about my difference. I can see it.
Hmm.
I know I'm different
Correct.
than you. I mean, you're different than me. But what matters to me is an interpersonal thing where if I meet you and I find out that something's important to you, if your heritage is indeed important to you, then okay, by all means, you got a special day that you like to celebrate, you do something, by all means, let us know. We're going to celebrate it with you because it's
Hmm.
Correct.
important to you.
See, yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah.
talking about exactly just that. I'm not saying that point them out for their difference because I
Hmm.
think that's the issues we having right now in America and around the world is that a lot of people want to be celebrated for their differences or want to be put on a pedestal and say that because you don't acknowledge my differences, then you are afraid or a phobia
Hmm.
of us, whatever it may be. And that's not even the
Yeah.
case. It's not that
Not at
there's
all.
a phobia of you. It's that why you think you want to be so special?
Look,
Like we
people
all
don't
are
know you
different.
until you say something.
That's true.
It's
Correct.
my opinion.
True, which is
So,
absolutely
That's
right.
true.
But I think the affirming thing is the issue. We don't. I
yeah.
don't have to. I don't have to affirm who you think you are.
No.
You don't have to affirm who I think I am. You don't have to
Yep.
affirm me
You just got to
because
believe
I
in
don't want
yourself.
you to. Correct. Which is
Live
what
the
I said.
life you want.
So like which I said like if that's who you say you are, then cool.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm gonna acknowledge you by who you said you are. Like when he told me he was a frying pan, dude, that fucked me
I'm
all up.
sorry. I was about to say I'm
And I
an
know,
oven mitt. Come here. Let me stop.
man,
See, now y'all
somebody,
can bond
dude.
together.
Hey, look, you can, but it messed me all up, dog. I was like, frying pan,
Hmm.
bruh, had me
Thought you
tripping.
flipped.
But then on the other side though, I was like, I said, "Are you serious?" He was like, "Yes." I was like,
All right.
"Okay, so how do I?" That's when we had
Address
to
you.
have a conversation. Like, how do I address you? Like,
Hmm.
how do we work to like, how does this grow? Because I don't understand like how to really treat you by you saying
Hmm.
you're a frying pan. I never really encountered. I know when I had a frying pan, what I do with frying pan.
Nah, I'm gonna trust you on this.
So in my
No,
mind, I'm
I'm good.
like, Yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, what do you mean? But having a conversation with him, and then getting to know him over time, he still want to be treated like a man. It's just I don't know. That's
Hmm.
how he felt.
See,
So it
and
was just
that's the other reason, bro. Because people do things and say things that they truly don't understand themselves. I think a lot of us are just screaming out to be seen or acknowledged and be known. So we do some outlandish things that give us light, give us some type of visual, like, hey, people see me, I'm here. But really, it's a lack of us having that self-esteem of knowing that, hey, this is who I am, and I don't have to tell the world who I am. I'm just gonna live it.
Hmm.
And I mean, and if you want to tell the world, you tell the world. I mean, you just walk through and you live your life, but don't do things just to be seen because that's not the authentic you. You don't know what a
yeah.
pan goes through. You've been put on the stove. You've been burnt. You've been
Hey,
cooked
Look,
on.
man.
boy.
But
Grease.
once
I'm
again,
just saying.
but you can't tell somebody who they are and what they're not.
And I won't try.
That's
I
when I
will
say I
respect you
let
for
it
who
be.
you are.
Man, it's crazy.
Absolutely.
These plans that say you don't know what a pan go through. All the
Hey,
abrasion,
that's what went through my mind when he said that. I was
all
like,
the abrasion, all the,
I said,
the
you get on fire, you burnt. Like,
I mean,
so,
shit. You get other
but
pants
hey,
stacked on top of you. I'm just
hey,
it's weird, bro.
hey,
It's
mm,
look,
crazy.
bro, I left it there. But
You
then he
do the
goes
right
into like then he goes into embracing fluidity, right?
thing. Okay.
This is where he talks about understanding that gender. He trying to get you to subscribe to the fact that gender is a social construct. It's not something that pretty much God defines.
mhm.
This is what that part he tries to go into. I don't subscribe to that, but however, I'm going to talk about
Let's talk.
it because
Genders.
this is what he
I'm
said.
sorry.
He's saying that you can be gender is fluid. You can shift from masculine to feminine anytime. That's what he's trying to use that. You can
Energy.
go from male to female.
Energy.
I don't.
You can be feminine.
I'm not.
You can have feminine energy.
Yeah, I
You
kind
can
of
act
agree.
like
I kind of
you can
agree
have
with
the
that.
energy.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But go ahead. I'm sorry. That's what
No,
I
what you're
heard.
saying,
Nah.
yeah, I agree with what
Yeah.
you're
Go
saying.
ahead.
The energy
Go
part,
ahead.
at least.
Nah. I understand the energy piece. I get that.
Well, I
I
think
hate.
that's what they were trying to really say, and that's why I'm saying people don't understand the words that they use and they don't really understand what they're saying sometimes. Because what you just pretty much said was the energy that they feel because you can shift from masculine to feminine. But if you're born a man, I mean, you're gonna have male parts. That's your body, your physical makeup. That's how God created you. That's a gender. But like when you go to identity and what in energy, man, look, it's different. I could feel soft today. Like I don't want no, I don't want to. I don't feel like that. But I could also feel like no, I want to throw some shit up. I want to lift some weights or some shit. That's all energy based. That's just
Well,
It's.
my
even though,
opinion.
I
like,
mean.
when we kids too, I think we
Mhm.
don't identify with genders. We force genders on our kids. Like, a kid gonna cry
That's
and
real.
have his feelings hurt, male or female. And then
Yes, that's a
sometimes
good one.
kids want to play with dolls and boys, and girls want to play with trucks. Like, but it's all in us in the same way. It's just we start siphoning them off to a different lane as they mature.
Mm, 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 mm.
I mean, I see that, but I don't think it's a forcing of a gender because you are a male if you're born a male, and you are a female if you're born a female until you declare otherwise,
Gender wise.
gender wise, right? But now, do you have traits of you have masculine traits and feminine traits? That's the thing. That's the difference.
Right. And that's what they're talking about, the
People have
expression of
traits
it,
of
right?
both.
They're talking about the
Yes.
Well, but
expression
not,
of gender.
well, this is not what. So in this one, he was talking about more of he was going between from expression, like you said, expression of the gender, which is like y'all talking about the different traits that people call it energy, but it's really the traits that you're displaying at the time frame. Um,
Hmm.
from that, and then he talks about pretty much in the end, talks about liberate people from that norm of saying that you're just a male or a female.
Hmm.
That's why this one had like a little bit of both. And he tried to soften it by using the trait to say that you do shift between these, which is true. You do shift between some of the traits. But it's times that you have masculine or feminine traits that pop up here and there. But then he goes at the end talking about pretty much getting rid of that and just being you,
See,
non-binary.
I don't know what the hell non-binary is. Is it ones and
But
zeros? I don't fucking know what
when I
you
hear
call it.
binary, I think about ones and zeros. I think about the Matrix background. But
Right.
Exactly, but so I
they're
don't say
talking
we in the
about
matrix.
gender.
Okay,
You
I
know,
don't
Yeah,
understand that
well,
one. I don't want
I
to speak
think
on
gender is only needed in a world with sin.
it.
Like,
Gender
can you explain
or
that?
well,
yeah.
there's like without sin and like the corruption that we exist in today, most people already go straight to, um, sexual type of issues that come with gender not being defined. But I
Hmm.
think if we all was just here to do our purpose, we wouldn't really need to be called a man or a woman. Like even religiously, if we just all here guys to do God's work, just do God's work. I don't matter if you got an extra description or not, you just do it.
I mean, yes and no, but then no, because in the Bible it
But
literally calls it man and women, man and woman, and they're defined because of the way that how the family structure is defined. That's God's plan. So
Hmm.
that's to me that's a no.
mm.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because if you
I'm
go
jelly.
read it, that's that. If you
Mm.
go read it, that's what it states. If you're a Christian, you believe in Christianity, that's what it states. But if you're not a Christian, then that's a different ballgame. You believe what you want to believe.
Hmm.
I mean, in any belief, this is my take on it: is that God created us right, and out of everything, men and women together make a baby. Man and man don't make baby. Woman and woman don't make baby. And I don't know what's in between that. But nothing other than man and woman make baby. So then in my mind, that's something none of us could ever change.
That's the
From my
family structure.
knowledge, right? But then when it that's what gender is one thing. I feel like people keep trying to change gender is male or female or that you got whatever. All right. So past that, you get the traits from the way you feel or that energy of masculine energy, the feminine
You
energy
get
you
traits
might
from the way
touch.
you feel. Nah,
I think so. So hold on, hear me out. Hear me out. Because when you feel a certain way, you begin to display certain things about how you feel. You show your happiness when you feel joy. You show your sadness when you feel sadness. When you're angry, you show anger. You show
but that's
frustration.
not a trait.
These,
But that's not a trait
you know,
though.
these are emotions. But what I'm saying is when you start to feel with it, that's what you do emotional. You start to feel a certain way, you start displaying those traits that are similar to the what that emotion or feeling was. Does that make sense?
I get what you're trying to say, but that's not a trait though.
Okay, a trait. What can you describe a trait as then?
Because a trait is a characteristic that clearly defines
Okay.
who you
Have
are.
you ever seen this? Have you ever seen
I
when
can.
kids do this? Look, hear me out for real. Have you ever seen a
I'm listening.
kid do something like this? Like flip the wrist. And all the parents used to say, "Ooh, that boy, he might be something might be wrong with him." It's a trait, right? It's something that he does. Or are you looking deeper into that trait, saying that it's like something you're born with, like
I'm talking
chromosome
about
or something
what you.
like
That's a trait. What I'm talking about. What you're talking about
that?
is
You talking about
pretty
on the
much.
medical side?
No, I'm talking. That's what a trait. What you're talking about is pretty much more of a habit. It's a display of. It's just like you said, it's a display of your emotion. It's
Okay.
not a trait though. That's more of an expression.
Okay. So what is okay? I don't understand what a trait is. Then
No,
please help
no.
me
So
understand that.
what you're talking about is expressions. But when we talking about, for example, like let's say that we talking about a female trait. Let's say a female trait is their menstrual cycle.
Hmm.
Can you, as a man, because you feel a certain way, have a menstrual cycle?
No.
That's what I'm talking about. But now, if you're talking about displaying your emotions, which is your expression, that's a different ballgame. You can have female type expressions or female like expressions, which we like in our terms in America, like we loosely use the word trait to say that we're displaying these traits of a thief, displaying these traits of a hoe, displaying these traits of a you know you have different characteristics and things like that. But if you go the real definition of traits goes back really to your DNA.
Okay.
But but if you want to use the loose definition of trait to where it could be an expression, that's fine. If that's what we define it as.
No, no. I want to be on par with what we talking about. I just wanted to make sure I
No,
had the understanding.
No,
Yeah.
but you are on the right, but you are on the right path. You are on the same exact thing he's talking about.
Okay.
But you're on the same exact thing he's talking about. The whole entire expression, like you said, talking about when kids do this, they snap their wrist hanging down or whatever, or in church, you got tambourine beaters, whatever the case may
See what I'm
be,
talking about?
Yeah, I'm saying, but
Quality or
like that's
characteristic.
correct.
So what is a trait? A distinguishing quality or characteristic, typically one belonging to a person. Gotcha. Okay, this is one.
Yeah,
Uh,
but you're
I just
talking about the loose definition that we use as the word trait as an expression.
okay.
So you're not
See,
wrong.
yeah, but that's not what you're referring to when you saying
Yeah,
trait.
that's
Gotcha.
in my mind when I was saying trait, I was like, that's not what I'm talking about. But what you're saying, you're using the loose term of trait, which
Well,
I
I
get it.
always just thought trait was like if an athlete is, he's doing athletic things. That's I don't know. Maybe I misunderstand it. Maybe it's pretty much a
But that is a
characteristic
trait.
of that athlete. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not how we mean. All right, I got you. I'm with you. All right, let's continue.
Is the author Christian by any chance, or like a
To be honest with
transcendentalist?
you,
Or
no, he's not. I never heard him say that he was a Christian at all.
Feature,
Robert Greene
quality,
never said he
essential
was a
quality.
Christian at all. Never said that he was a Christian at all. Which is why I said
I
like,
was
this chapter
born
is
a
the
Christian.
hardest.
Anyway, all right. What we doing? Where we going? Yeah.
You threw me off with that. That was funny though.
My bad.
But
All
what
right.
can we learn about ourselves when we allow for fluidity in our gender expression?
Some shit you might do, you might have thought was gay as hell.
openness, yeah.
I mean, hey,
I mean,
we all have some like questionable things that we may have done,
my
or
homeboy
even
like to get
thought
his
So
about.
nails
we
done.
all have.
Yeah, everybody has.
You probably got one. You probably got one.
I mean, when I first went and get my hands and feet done, people were like, "Oh, that's like gay." I was like, "Huh?"
Nigga, you
I was
gay. That's what
confused.
you say.
That's exactly what they said.
Stop.
I was like, "How is that gay?" Because I want to get my hands and feet done.
Okay.
But see, that's where this comes into play.
Correct.
That's not.
Which is
That's
why I
just
said,
taking care of yourself.
absolutely. That's why
Yeah.
I'm like, why do I like? You remember the term? You remember the term back in the day, metrosexual?
Yes. Yeah, I was
Remember
about
that
to
term?
say that. That's crazy.
Like I knew some guys that were metrosexual, and a lot of times the crazy thing about it was some of the dudes are from DMV, right? And they went to my
Yes.
school, and
Is that where it
everybody
came
was
Or
like,
from?
DR.
I think DMV is where the term came from, possibly. I'm not sure, but I know a lot of
Okay.
dudes in DMV were always like, girls would say, "Oh, he's metrosexual." I'm like, what is that supposed to mean? Like, I
So
never really
now I had
truly
to ask the
understood it.
Mm.
I
I'm
never
finna ask
understood it, and I
dude,
was like, what you mean? What you
what is
mean metro? What's that
metrosexual?
supposed to mean? Right? And so, but the thing was,
relating to or denoting men who live in urban areas and enjoy shopping, fashion, and similar interests traditionally associated with women or gay men.
I heard that.
oh, okay, I heard that. But
That's
see, like,
crazy.
the crazy thing about it
Uh-huh.
was those guys, like, they could dress good, like they
Yeah.
were on point with their dress game. But like the girls were like, oh, he's metrosexual. I'm like, is he gay?
I thought they were
What
making
is that?
shit up, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I did
That's
too. I didn't
interesting.
understand it. You know what I'm saying? But that, to me, that was kind of messed up because those guys were also kind of like stereotyped as to being gay, and they may not even been gay.
Yep.
So
And they
know what I'm saying?
you want manicure from being a pretty boy to being a homosexual, or how
Pretty
they
much.
look at it.
Yeah.
Just cause you want a
Yeah.
manicure or
Yeah.
a pedicure. And
Interesting.
I'm like, that's not right because like if I see a girl get a haircut, don't mean she's a butch.
Right.
You don't mean she's. Don't mean she's
But I
gay.
think that's
Throwback
also based on the
words.
area or where you from.
I ain't heard some of these words in a very long time, sir.
These are words that I had to go look up
Did you
and really figure out what they
time
meant.
travel, sir?
Really figure out
Because
what
I
they
ain't
meant.
heard last metro I heard was booming, and that
I took those notes because I was like, yo, what were some of the words that they were using? Because I really wanted to know what they were.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
the whole butch thing or a stud. I remember hearing the word bulldagger. I was like, what the hell is a bulldagger?
dang, boy.
Oh, that's old as hell.
I know you
No,
came back
seriously,
from
dog.
the
Like, I
future,
went
boy.
and looked up a lot of those. I went and looked up a lot of those words, and to me that was kind of messed up because I'm like, just because somebody was athletic or could play basketball, or a female that can, that can ball out or whatever, that was really like tomboyish, they will call them these names. I'm
Hmm.
like, yo,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know
That's
if that
true.
person, if that's how that person really is. But this is the
You don't.
mindset that we were conditioned to be like, to try to, place a label on somebody without just letting them be who they are.
That's society, boy. Society quick to do that, and then everybody else quick to try to catch up. And by the time the public here, we don't know what the fuck that really mean. We just
Right.
passing shit
Yeah,
along that don't really mean what we think. I mean, you
facts.
calling that man gay? He just like take care of himself.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't
Correct. I'm saying
understand it,
that
so
right.
you saying the wrong thing.
Correct. When I was, that's why, like, when I say some of the guys who are metrosexual, they kept calling metrosexual, which kind of find out it wasn't a bad term, but
Mm-hmm.
it sounded
Hmm.
bad, and it made it seem bad
Oh,
because
you
the way
say,
they were talking, the way they talked about them, right? They made it feel
yeah.
like it was a bad term because the way they talked about them like that,
Right.
and so a lot
I
of
know
guys
women gonna
felt some
look
type
at
of
you a
way
little
about that.
different.
That's what they look at. Look at you that they do. But like I said, this is what
Yeah.
they were calling people. It's wild,
Yeah.
dog. But I think if you're in a group chat, please just answer that question. What can you learn? What can we learn about ourselves when we allow for fluidity in our gender expression? Real quick, while we took a quick pause, I want to definitely invite you all to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, here on YouTube as well. We also have X as well. BGC Club Podcast is pretty much our names across the board, except for on Facebook is BGC Podcast. So just follow us, subscribe, share, like, join the conversation, participate in some of these discussions that we have. Send us questions that you want to talk about. Any ideas, just send it out to us. All right, I appreciate it. I think we all would appreciate it. We're just trying to grow our
Always.
channel. We also
Facts.
trying to make sure we provide some value back to you that can help you grow. So this is one I think we all gonna enjoy. Now we got the rough patch.
I like that. I like that shit though.
No, it's not bad. It's not a bad topic to talk about. It just was very challenging when you read it. Um, Pretty much, as we define or redefine our understanding of gender, we already did
Mm-hmm.
that. We also can now grapple with the direction of our life journey. Now you kind of identify who you are. If you see how he does his book, now he wants you to kind of look at where are you trying to go? What's your purpose? So this kind of brings us to Law 13, which is the Law of Aimlessness. This is
Mm-hmm.
where we address the perils and opportunities of aimlessness. So the three pinpoint things we're going to talk about in the Law of Aimlessness is pretty much navigating life's direction, setting our sails, or pretty much where we're going to go, our strategy, where we're going to go, and then purposeful living.
Right.
So when you talk about navigating life's direction, pretty much what happens when we lack a clear direction in life? What typically happens? And then we talk about pretty much, we're going to explore some signs of aimlessness and its subtle cost to our sense of purpose and fulfillment.
Mm, 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 mm. That's deep.
Hey man, it's a
I was,
it's tough. Go ahead, you got it.
I was actually thinking about this today, and uh, I say most of us get lost, and we really get stuck or stranded in a situation in life
Mm-hmm.
because we don't know where to go. Like we have no direction or like really where we're going. Like as high school students, when you get out of 12th grade, you know you got to graduate. You got to figure out what you're gonna do with your life. Well, you don't never stop there. You don't never stop. But you do things and you keep moving along the way to help kind of gain some direction and some purpose along with it. But we'll get into that a little later. But
Hmm.
at first, you really don't know, and that's how I feel like a lot of people in this life get stuck. Whether
Right.
well, so I mean that's just my little spill on the direction piece, man. You need some direction. You gotta have some. Where you get it from, that's on you.
What you got, Lucky?
I think we talked about this offline a little bit, but association of like who's in your circle, I think plays a big role into like finding your
Hmm.
purpose and aligning yourself with your purpose, so you don't get distracted and fall off. I
Yeah.
guess let your sails
Hmm.
go with the wind, and you still on the straight and narrow path.
Yeah. I see both. I see that. I definitely understand that. The whole thing I think with the whole direction piece or the aimlessness piece, and this goes back from people tying. And I said this before to one of my soldiers too, a while ago about how people tie their identity to their rank and
Mm.
or their purpose to their rank. Put up like that. So they pretty much their purpose. They look at their purpose and identity as the same thing, right? When they really are two different things. Your
Okay.
identity is not your purpose, and your purpose is not your identity. Your purpose will identify you, but it's not your identity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think when people like, even when you get attached to like we talked before, gender, like certain gender stereotypes. When you get attached to those certain gender stereotypes, thinking that I gotta be a man's man, I'm gonna be you
Mm-hmm.
know rough, tough, whatever. I mean, be who your family
Mm-hmm.
needs you to be. Be
Monster
who
trucks
you
and
ask.
all that.
Be the best version of you. Really,
Mm-hmm.
you can be a man. You don't have to be a man's man where you out here chopping wood and shit, going through being Paul Bunyan or whatever you want to be. Like you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
do all that all the time. It's different types of men, right?
Mm-hmm.
But understanding who you are and then what your strengths and your weaknesses, then that can help you identify your purpose once you align that with God.
Yep.
So, because your purpose is really
Absolutely.
to help others. Your purpose is tied to other people, and it's really in service for the most part. So,
Mm.
but when people tie their identity to their purpose, that's where they mess up
I I personally think that a lot of people don't realize what their purpose is until later in life. Um, I feel like we all try to know what our purpose is and try to act in it, but we don't really understand it until later. I feel like we are guided for so long by everybody else telling us what to do, whether from birth, your mom, to you get a job, your boss, like everybody giving you orders and telling you what to do, but nothing's really making sense. So you're searching. And I feel like a lot of us are searching for that purpose, and that's why we're so lost because we don't understand it. But then, I mean, let's say you make a decision and you go a direction and then you figure out you don't like it or you do like it, but there's something deeper in it that's pulling you to keep doing this type of thing. And I feel like that's your purpose is like calling at you. And a lot of us fight that because we don't really understand it and we don't know. Because sometimes our purpose will take us far away from what we desired, what we wanted in our lives. If I wanted to be an NBA player, shit, I think everything should lead to the NBA. But no, it might not lead to the NBA at all. It might lead to finance. You might be working with the NBA, but it might lead to finance. You never know. But like, and I'm just talking about tangible things. But when I say purpose, I really mean something that something's starting to pull at you to the point where you start going down a path that you cannot control, but you start to change lives. You start to affect others. You start to see the meaning of your life and while you're there or why you're there. And I feel like once you gain that feeling and you start latching on to it, okay, this is that purpose I should be acting in. Let me keep doing more of this. Let me keep doing this. Let me see how I can amplify it. Let me see how I can make sure my direction help guide others down this direction where they ain't have to hit the bumps I hit. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what my purpose is kind of leading me to do. So I feel like everybody is late figuring that out. That's why we're lost at first. But once we find it, once we latch on and make a decision, I feel like the purpose comes through and we hold on to it.
Right.
at. Yeah.
My bad. I said a lot. I hope
Nah,
that
nah.
makes sense.
I think no, it does. I think, but like you kind of hit on a little bit too. But one thing people understand too is that I think early on in life we're very self-centered,
Hmm.
very very
Yeah.
self-centered. So we think everything is tied back to us. Your purpose is not self-serving.
Yeah.
Your purpose is not like you think when they made the iPhone. You think the iPhone was made just for it to use itself?
Just for the who?
You think they made the iPhone just so the iPhone could just use itself?
Hmm.
Oh,
No.
yeah, I
That's
feel
not
that.
the
I see
purpose
what
of
you
the
did.
iPhone. The purpose of the iPhone was to, for you to get in your hands to have a better experience to connect with the rest of the world, and also to make your productivity a little bit easier for you, right? The things
Yep.
that you use, which are the tools, they're given to you for a purpose. Just like you are there for a purpose to serve others, to be a conduit or a tool for others to be able to use. You're not there to serve yourself, and that's where I think that we have the biggest issue because we're so selfish. That's why we're so aimless, because we're selfish. Most people in life who are very selfish are very aimless. They have no idea where the trajectory in their life is going because they are selfish. They're worried about me instead of we. Think about if you as a
Ooh.
father, if you was to worry about just you,
Mhm.
then the word father is meaningless.
Mm. Mm. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It had to sink in a little bit. I heard that. I
So
heard that.
just that's why purpose, or the fact of like understanding that your purpose is not tied to you. It's tied to other people. It's not self-serving.
Mhm.
It's not about
True.
you. That's why every time you try to do
Mm.
something that you want to do, God always takes you out of it and puts you into where He wants you to be at, because that's not where you're
Mhm.
supposed to be.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
I think that aimless season, that season of like frustration, gives you more
Hmm.
long lasting purpose, like purpose filled actions too. Because you're like, man, I
Correct.
wasted all this time. Now I gotta go crazy, or this definitely feels way more
Ooh,
right than what I
ooh,
was doing. So I don't know. I think it's
ooh.
also needed.
Absolutely.
Facts, bro. I'm sorry. I gotta get in on this because that just made me, bro. Everything in life happens for a reason. I
Hmm.
truly believe that, and I believe that because even in finding your purpose, you go through these moments of aimlessness, loss. You don't know what to do, but
Hmm.
you are meant to go through them to understand your purpose. You have to go through them to truly understand the value in what you're gonna be doing
Hmm.
and how it's gonna touch others, how it's really gonna work. Because all that aimlessness, you're making mistakes figuring it out. These things would not mean anything to you if you didn't go through and feel it. If you
Right.
didn't make
Yeah.
that mistake and feel that pain, you would not. That shit wouldn't mean shit. You'll still be selfish.
Absolutely. Matter of fact,
But when you go through that,
go ahead.
Lord,
Finish. Yep.
no, I'm
Finish.
done. Go ahead.
But I'm gonna give you a biblical story of exactly what that looks like.
Hmm.
All
So
right.
everybody remember Joseph, right, and his brother. Joseph's
Yep.
brothers threw him in the pit. They was gonna actually kill him, but they threw him in the pit instead because his brother Levi was like, "Hey, let's not kill him. Let's throw him in the pit. We'll come back and get
Right.
him later." But the Midianites found him and then sold him off into slavery into Egypt. He then got placed
No,
into the to the
ruthless.
he then got placed into Potiphar's house to be Potiphar's pretty much right hand man.
Hmm.
Potiphar's wife tries to do some. Remember Joseph had all these dreams too. He had dreams about wheat, things of wheat bowing to him and stuff like that. All types
Right.
of stuff
Right.
about him.
Right.
And so he gets sent into jail, had all these dreams, interpreting dreams, and then later on he gets taken out of jail because one of the people who were in jail remembered him and had him interpret Pharaoh's dream.
Hmm.
So Pharaoh called him out, interpreted the dream, and he talked about the famine, which is how we have the system we have now with banking and all that other stuff. Pretty much started from him as well. So um, Joseph created that piece. And mind you, a famine hit Canaan, which is where his family stayed at. God pretty much took him out of that area in advance, knew what was going to happen, put him in a position to be able to affect the change for the whole nation of Israel, which why it led into the whole thing with Moses in the future.
Hmm.
But with him being in that position to be Pharaoh's right hand man next, now and being in charge of all the money, all the land, all the grain, pretty much all the food for the whole land of Egypt. When his family needed help, or they came into Egypt looking for help, looking for food and sustenance, he was in position already to help them.
Hmm.
No, I'm trying to be. Oh shit.
Like that's how your purpose is tied to others. You may not even understand the beginning, but Joseph went through all that turmoil in the beginning. And that's why he always said,
Mm.
what the devil meant for good, meant for bad, God meant it for my good.
Oh God.
That's what he was talking about. Because all those trials and tribulations which he went through, which goes back to James 1, when tribulation said about you, count it all joy. When you go through these trials and stuff, count it joy, because that's what's making you into what you need to be to fulfill your purpose.
Hmm.
And that's what
Mm.
we're talking about. All three of us talked about that. That's what that
Oh
part about
God.
understanding your whole entire life direction. So, got a question for y'all.
Nice. Question.
In chat,
Yeah.
please comment. I don't know if anybody's monitoring the chat. I can't see the chat right now.
Let's see about chat.
But
Hmm.
have you ever felt aimless, and what strategies helped you find direction?
Yeah. You want me to get it first, or you got it,
Go
Yeah, you
ahead,
go
go
ahead.
first. Go first.
bro? I've been. I speak from my life experiences when I speak about anything. So
Hmm.
everything that we're saying in reference to being aimless and then gaining purpose, yes, I was aimless throughout the first half of my life. I don't feel I was selfish, but when I asked my mom, I just wanted to do what the fuck I wanted to do. So so
It's always like
I understand. It is right, but like I needed every bit of it because I was always told what to do. My mom was strict. I joined the military. She didn't even want me to do that. I rebelled. I found my way. But through all of those, I made so many fucking mistakes. The only thing I could tell myself is God, I not God. God has a bigger plan for me because
Mhm.
I'm still living after every mistake that I had. After sometimes I could have fucking died. I'm walking right now with my benefits. Like I'm good. So there's a purpose on the other side of that. And my purpose I found while I was in the military, and I knew it was to help other people do things that I could only do. I mean, I'm really not special from nobody, but it's certain things that I felt that I saw that God enlightened me before it enlightened others. So my purpose is to connect and make everybody interaction with me something better, to
Mhm.
let them believe that they can be something better, that there is a purpose for you, because a lot of us get lost in that aimlessness and some of us won't take ourselves out. I've encountered so much of that throughout my time being aimless and trying to help other people deal with it. I've learned that a bigger purpose is always on the other horizon. You just got to keep moving.
That's
But
real.
that's mine. That's all.
That's it. That's all.
Oh,
Mm.
my bad. I stopped
you got anything,
abruptly, but
Loki?
y'all get it.
Uh, it's too many really, but I think right now I'm in my aimless season, so I wouldn't call it completely aimless, but it is a rediscovery period. So
Hmm.
I think for me, what I've been doing to refine my purpose is I've been reading more, been documenting my thoughts more, been changing my circles and changing my habits that I've currently been doing. Because kind of the main thing I've been trying to focus on is if it hasn't worked yet, then this habit probably is not going to provide a new result.
Mm,
So uh, just trying to really be like more introspective on what I thought I was and who I truly am and who I can then become after I redefine who I am. So just I don't know. It's a lot more that I can't really
Yeah.
put into words that is going
Nah,
on,
I
but
feel you.
you
Nah, I
know.
feel you.
that's real, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all felt that. I mean, I've been there. Y'all saw me when I was going through time like mine at this point. Um, I'm still technically still journeying through that. I know where
Mhm.
my direction needs. I'm already actually I know my direction, so I already know which way I need to go. So it no longer really aimless. It's now just focused on that direction.
Mhm.
But before really was like everywhere, like all over, until I had to
Mhm.
like sit down, stop everything. And really, when I really, what really helped me the most is really when I started going deeper into my study as far as studying the Bible.
Mm.
Even reading the Old Testament in Hebrew, learning Hebrew,
Oh
all
shit.
types of stuff, man. Like, dude,
My bad.
like I was going deep into it. Like, even still right now, like right now I'm reading Isaiah. Isaiah chapter 47. Reading that, I've been reading that like for the past 2 weeks. Just going back and forth over that for the past 2 weeks. Just dissecting that down. So right now, that's just really getting working on my health. Working on my spirit. My spirit, my relationship with God. Like I said, family, career, business, side business on the side. I'm working on that. That's like thinking away at that on the side because I know when I want to release those type of things. So I'm not trying to stretch myself too thin, but I'm doing just enough to kind of keep me moving.
Oh God. I
Um,
feel that.
yeah.
But
So
why are
the
you
other part you
doing it?
talked. You said what?
Now go ahead, go ahead. I said, but
No,
why
no,
are
no.
you
What you said?
doing it?
Why am I doing it?
Yeah.
so it goes back to like the whole. Remember the whole book I was thinking about writing about the process, about
Mm-hmm.
how the last thing in God's process is pretty much impacting people. Everything
Mm.
that you do from God giving you a vision, which affects your purpose and so forth, all the way down to how it impacts people. That's why I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing what I'm doing.
Respect, my boy.
I've been impacting people for years, and I see it. And I just
It's the
recently had
best
an
feeling,
encounter
ain't it?
with. It's very humbling. And sometimes you don't know that you affected people in a certain way that change their lives drastically until they tell you.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I
true.
had a couple of those. I had a couple of those moments where people came to me and told me how I changed their lives drastically. A couple of soldiers that I was their drill sergeant before, a couple of people who I've mentored, people I just interacted with like briefly. I didn't even know that they was watching me from afar. So
Yeah.
things like that, and then so it's stuff like that that just makes me get kind of like humble, keeps me humble.
Say less.
Um, but going forward though, he talks about pretty much setting ourselves. That's not his title, but that's what we're calling it. And it's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much what he talks about strategies for establishing a vision for your life, aligning your actions with your deepest values, and how they stay the course. Pretty much how to stay the course throughout the rest of your life, so that way through any type of storms that may go. Which is kind of like that
Mm-hmm.
whole entire pathway we were talking about before through the process is how you got to have a vision first, but that vision has to be aligned with your actions. And with that vision, once you have that vision, and your vision a lot of times has to be meaningful. It has to be pretty much memorable, measurable, those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have that and you understand your value, like for example, let's say like I'm gonna use Loki for example. Let's say Loki values his family time. That's his
Mm-hmm.
priority. His number one priority is family. So if family's number one priority, anything that he's doing, he's trying to lessen it so he can have more time for his family.
Yeah.
So then it's like how do you back plan to lessen time so that way you can have more time for your family? You have to create systems in order to have that to have that time to do things that now that you don't have to do manually. You have a system that can automatically do it. Now you
Mhm.
have time to do X, Y, and Z with your family. So
Yeah.
if your value is if you know what your value is and that's your non-negotiable, then you can kind of then back plan to see, okay, is this aligning with my vision? Are my actions now saying is my actions in correlation with my vision? And does it go? Is everything driving towards the purpose?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
So that's what setting
So
your sails is.
that's what pretty much that's what we're calling it. But he doesn't call it
Gotcha.
that. He calls it something totally different. I think he calls it strategies for developing a high sense of purpose.
Mm.
Is what it says in his book. So
Strategies for
because of
development.
that, got a question for you. I'm reading it from off my phone.
All right.
Hmm. What practical steps can someone take to discover and define their personal vision or life direction? Or but no, Betty, I got a better question. No, I have a way better one, man.
Oh
How
shit.
can we how can we ensure that our goals we set are truly aligned with our values rather than societal expectations?
Hmm.
It's,
Let me think.
Message.
Well,
well, I got your
I
answer.
mean,
Well,
you
part of your
go,
answer.
go, yeah, you go ahead then.
If what
You
you're
got me on that
doing,
one.
if what you're doing gets no likes, no views, and no publicity,
Would you still do it?
but it still is what you still want to do, and it still completes your purpose, like what you feel is your purpose, and I feel like you're
He's
doing it
smart.
for the right reason.
Because I know why he said that.
That was a good answer.
That's a
Wow.
good answer. Because that's what
Yeah.
I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. Regardless, I don't care who shows up. You can tell
Hmm.
me. Show must go on.
No, that's real. That's real. I mean, I guess that's as I don't think there's no other better way to say that because you can't give a fuck about the world and how they putting titles on everything and what they calling everything. Sometimes you just gotta do you, and doing you is what you needed to do all along. So, uh, if it lines up with what your goal was and your goals lined up with what the creator created for you, the path he gave you and the purpose he gave you, like You'll see it. The
Right.
things that you do, they're gonna impact the way you want or the way God intends for them to impact. But that's probably also gonna give you self gratification. You know, you're gonna feel accomplished. You're gonna feel like you achieved something. So I would think so. I would think that's the way.
I think a way that you can pretty much ensure that the goals that we set truly align. I think about, does your tree bear fruit, and then what kind of fruit is it bearing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
it's a, out of Proverbs, so it's like, every tree bears fruit. Doesn't mean that it's good for you to eat,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, is your fruit edifying?
Mm.
Because
Mm.
everybody can have goals. Like, there's people that might, I want to commit 10 murders, today. Like, that's a goal
Damn.
for some people. Some drill people, they be drunk. I want to take
God.
10 bodies out today.
Mm-hmm.
That's real talk. I'm gonna take 10 bodies out, and you like, that's really your goal, but that's probably all they care about right now.
Yeah.
But it's not edifying. It's not fruit filled. It's not fruitful. You know, I think that's how you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of test if your goals are aligned with your actual vision. To see if it's really, because goals can be good or bad. You know what I mean? But I think
Mm-hmm.
your goals should be, like we talked about before. Your purpose has to be impacting others in a positive manner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not self-serving. Your purpose is not self-serving. Um, Now the last one he talks about is pretty much we kind of go into it, but we call it purposeful living, and this is about how now you can live with intention, and
Mm-hmm.
how it can lead to more focused and meaningful existence. So now you kind of like know what your purpose is, because now you can live with intention versus walking around through that labyrinth, that maze, all day, and you don't know where you're going. But now you know exactly the
Mm-hmm.
direction. You remember how we used to print off the MapQuest stuff offline before we had GPS?
Right.
But
Yes,
before
bro.
that,
Oh, that's crazy.
they had to get a map. They had to pull out the big
A
ass
map.
road map,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then before
They
that, they
had the
had
little
an
books and
atlas. They had
yeah.
a bigger map, or they had to like use the stars
Boy, we
in
blessed,
order to
ain't we?
travel. Yeah, now we can just go, hey Siri, or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
You know, so I'm thinking
That's
about
crazy,
like
but true.
how now we can get somewhere faster because we have a better intent. We know how to use
Mm-hmm.
our tools in order to get us to where we need to get to faster. Versus just driving randomly, just going sightseeing, like Sunday driving.
Mm-hmm. No, that's real.
Y'all have y'all have any takes on that?
I mean, shit, we got no excuse if you look at it like that. Like, I mean, shit, we got everything handed to us at this point. It's too many fucking resources that we can use to do stuff that they had a so much harder time figuring out. I don't know.
True,
I don't
but
know.
nowadays I think your biggest risk, because everything has a risk and reward. Your biggest risk is that you can easily get scammed out of all your out of your out of your possessions, because of
Yeah.
how vulnerable now people are, because everybody wants to be wealthy versus trying to make sure they impact the people.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
goes back to that
Security.
distraction part where it's like I feel because we faster, it's a lot more opportunities for things that are
Mm-hmm.
not your purpose to be presented to you. So it's like now you got so many things.
Too many options.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the problem. I'm sorry. I hate too many options. Give me three. Let me choose. I'm good with
Facts.
that. Four, too much.
Facts. Big
For
facts.
real.
So I
Yeah.
have a question for y'all.
Okay.
Let me see which one I want to ask.
Uh-oh.
What does living with intention look like on a day-to-day basis for you?
Living with intention.
What
I
does it
mean,
look like
really
on
the
a
same
day-to-day
thing.
basis for you?
You know what?
Just for you.
For I I had another thing in mind for this one though. I don't want to use me this time. Can I use what y'all did?
All right.
Can I use
What?
what y'all did? 75 hard.
Hmm.
I just met somebody that did that, and he felt like the same way y'all felt. It was so powerful and moving for y'all life. It was changing, life changing. But he was moving with intention every day to make sure that he read, he lifted, he ate a certain way, like same thing that y'all did. That's I think that's a great example of living with intention, moving forward with the things that you want to do to make you better. It's a goal in mind in that.
But what does that look like for you now?
See, you motherfucker. Yeah, I hate you. I mean, honestly, bro, it's the same for me. It's just not 75 hard. My everyday life is about building this business to to grow to a point where my family is secure, plus my friends,
Mhm.
my family. Like that, I'm living with intention and everything. I sacrifice so much to get to the point where I want to go. I'm living with it. I'm pushing this shit every day. I'm doing the same shit. But yeah, I mean, trying to get there. That help? That is that okay? Is that enough? Or I got to go into more detail.
I'm just
That's
asking.
enough.
It's
That's
your
enough.
answer.
That's
It's
enough.
not. It's
That's
not.
enough.
It's not my answer. It's your answer.
I know, but you know egging me on to keep going and shit. All right.
What you got, Loki?
Well, I just like going to sleep finished, like complete, like no stones unturned. I feel like that's what my intention. Like if I had 12 things to do, I want at least if I didn't get 12, I know my body gave out a 10. So like or my
Mm-hmm.
mind gave out a 10. So I like going to sleep, ending my day at a state of kind of like almost exhaustion because I know like I did as much as I could do for that day.
Mm-hmm. More of, is it
Yeah,
more of a mental exhaustion or more of like a physical exhaustion?
it depends on the task at hand, but
Mm-hmm.
um, I just don't want. I hate going to sleep with like, oh, I need to finish this. I need to work on that. Like, if I needed to, then I should have probably done more at some point.
Hmm.
Okay. Damn, you sound like damn. It's almost like me. Cause I'm like, yeah, if I got something to do, if I like just really, it's me. What I started doing now, instead of me trying to do everything in one day, I really spaced out my stuff as far as like prioritizing. Like I told you before, glass ball, rubber ball, metal ball. Which one can I drop?
Mm-hmm.
And I do that for all five of my pretty much my topics, like my work, career, home, fitness, which is my health as well, um, family, because not just home to me is also like what I can clean up around, like other duties I have to do around the home, family time, and then my side business or things I do with my friends. So like, that's my day-to-day thing, but I have it prioritized based off of that criteria: the glass ball, metal ball, rubber ball criteria, and I'm pretty focused on it. Make sure that I'm knocking out the biggest things first.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But see, I like that.
so
I like that you use that glass ball, rubber ball. Like because even with that, you don't necessarily drop a ball. You might not ever drop a ball. You still juggle them, but you just prioritize them because of the effect that they could have based on whatever they are.
if I drop it, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Respect. All right, I like that. I like that. All right,
So
well,
we're gonna close this up, y'all. But before that, I really want you all to just hit the like button, subscribe button. You know, share this, share our page. Join, follow us on social media on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, shoot, YouTube. I would say
shit.
MySpace, but MySpace not around no
Shit,
more. I would say Black
is it? I
Planet,
don't
that
know.
ain't around no more. I don't know.
Shit, I heard they
Black Planet
banning
may be
TikTok.
around.
Ain't no telling.
It might not be on TikTok that much longer, y'all. Better ever subscribe.
For real.
uh,
Ain't no telling,
but
boy.
definitely share this with share this with your some of your male friends, your uncles, cousins, brothers. Even share it with some of your sisters or aunts or moms, whoever. Just get us out there. If you find this very enlightful or entertaining or informative, let us know. Let us know down below. Help us to be able to improve so that we can make sure we provide you better information or better content. We're doing this to make not for us but for you all. But
Yep.
while we're doing this, it's working on us as we do these things.
I about to say
So
it's
please,
good help for me too.
yeah. So please, share this with other people. I definitely thank you for your time and for your attention. And as always, y'all have anything to say before we close out? Because I want to give y'all the floor too.
Nah, man, it's a pleasure being here with y'all, man, as usual.
All right.
Hey,
So look,
be
huh?
who the fuck
Yeah,
you are.
yeah. He said it. Be who you are. So as we wrap up this evening's discussion, we might, be reminded that the journey of self-discovery is not about the destination, but also about transcending boundaries and walking with purpose. So define yourself, align yourself, serve others. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Until then, we'll see you next time. We out.
Deuces.